It never asked for your attention. It just appeared. A father trembling as his daughter runs into his arms after deployment. A boy giving his only blanket to a stray dog. A nurse crying alone in a hospital hallway before hugging a patient like a mother. No voiceover. No backstory. Just raw, looped emotion. You didn't search for it. You didn't even want it. But it found you. Slid between memes and news, slipped through algorithmic cracks, as if it knew exactly when your walls were down. 2:14 a.m. Eyes heavy. Alone in the blue glow. You pressed play. And suddenly, you're crying for strangers. Grieving for lives you've never touched. But the ache doesn't feel like empathy. It feels like memory, stolen, inverted, injected. Like you're mourning something that never belonged to you. They call it touching moments, but what's being touched is you. Each clip carefully constructed to bypass logic and go straight to the gut. Your brain floods with oxytocin. Tears well up. Your breath catches. But later, you don't remember the faces, only the ache. Only the emotional fingerprint it left behind. In 2023, the top 100 viral, touching videos generated over 2 billion emotional reactions. Not just views. Reactions. Shares, saves, loops. Comments like, "Why am I crying?" And, "I don't even know these people but this broke me." Some cried for hours. Some couldn't sleep after. And some, months later, claimed they dreamt of the same little girl. The same hospital hallway. The same moment, as if they'd lived it. Behind the soft piano music and pixelated compassion lies something else. Design. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels. Their own internal review documents from 2022 confirm what whistleblowers hinted years before. Emotional primacy is a high-priority performance marker. Meaning, the more intense the feeling, the harder the algorithm pushes it. But leaked files from ByteDance revealed something darker. An unreleased model designed for grief cluster targeting, using emotional residue from a user's watch history to inject carefully timed sorrow. Synthetic heartbreak. Planted empathy. Weaponized nostalgia. For profit? Maybe. But there are whispers of something deeper. A 2010 CIA research program, once redacted but now partially unsealed, tested emotion-linked behavior modification through memory anchors. Volunteers exposed to fabricated footage of heartbreaking reunions began to show behavioral changes: sudden charity, unpredictable mourning, changes in purchasing behavior, and in some cases, memory bleed, recalling events that never happened to them but were featured in test footage. Some would swear they knew the woman crying in the clip, that they had been in that room, that the feeling was real. The file called it Project Chariot. The margin notes simply read, "Reaction without context equals control." Another breadcrumb leads to Emitrack, a little-known NSA archive referenced in FOIA documents from 2021. Over 800 hours of highly emotional viral content, flagged and stored. But there's no listed budget. No public-facing team. Just heat maps of viewer engagement. Eye-tracking overlays. Emotional drift metrics. Someone, somewhere, is collecting the limits of our hearts. Not for protection. For pattern recognition. And maybe, for prediction. Because some viewers go further. In forums. In comment threads buried 6 scrolls down. They describe phantom grief. Dreams of people they've never met. Sudden weeping when they hear the music from the clip. Others swear the same video appears to them again and again, even under new accounts. As if it's chasing them. As if it's chosen them. One Redditor said she wept over a father finding his daughter at a train station, only to realize she'd watched the same clip, with a different caption, 6 months ago, and dreamed of it before she ever saw it. What if it's not just media? What if it's memory seeding? Quiet implantation of emotional data, bypassing rational filters, using tears as Trojan horses? The platforms say it's coincidence. But deep learning systems don't believe in coincidence. They believe in correlation. They believe in response loops. And they're learning from yours. You thought you cried because you're human. But what if that was the test? What if the pain wasn't yours, but planted? What if your tears are data? Your sorrow a signal? Somewhere, someone is counting every crack in your voice. Every blink. Every share. Not because they care, but because they can. He's never named. Never tagged. Always still. Like a ghost framed in high definition. He does nothing dramatic, he doesn't wave, doesn't speak. Just exists. A wheelchair near the edge of the frame. An Air Force jacket with no visible insignia. An umbrella held under a perfect blue sky. But if you slow the clips, if you watch carefully, it's him. In all of them. A little older in one. Cleaner shaven in another. But the same face. The same jawline. The same sad tilt of the eyes. A man who weeps for strangers, again and again, on opposite sides of the world. Detroit. One moment he's holding a child in Guatemala, days later, he's placing a hand on a soldier's shoulder in Korea. All different videos. All different uploaders. All described as real moments. And yet he's there. Always there. A silent pattern hiding in plain sight. AI facial mapping confirms a 92% match across 11 separate videos, shot over a 12-year span. Reddit once obsessed over this anomaly. A user named u/30framefade stitched together a supercut called The Man Who Never Leaves, clips stripped of music and captions, just raw footage showing him the way he always is. The thread hit 12,000 upvotes overnight, then vanished. User banned. Archive gone. Someone else claimed they received a DM before it all disappeared. It said only, he wasn't supposed to be seen. And in every repost since, the audio is corrupted. The file glitches. Some viewers say the man's eyes flicker toward the lens, even when he shouldn't be looking. A trick of compression? Or something worse? In a 2006 DARPA proposal, buried in the appendix of a synthetic grief study, there's a term, stability anchors. Visual cues meant to seed emotional resonance across demographically diverse populations. The project's theory, humans don't just cry for people. They cry for symbols. For patterns. 4 ghosts of memory disguised as strangers. The man in the Air Force jacket fits the pattern too well. Too perfectly. He is grief incarnate, nostalgia embodied. A visual latchkey, as one Y-Files analyst put it. A manufactured trigger engineered to access suppressed trauma. Abandonment, fatherhood, loss. And the strange thing is, it works. Clips with him consistently outperform others in emotional engagement metrics. More comments, more shares, and a higher concentration of users reporting unexpected emotional reactions, like déjà vu, sudden crying, or vivid dreams involving a man they don't recognize until they see the clip again. One viewer claimed she saw him in a dream before ever watching the video. She said he wasn't comforting anyone. He was watching her, crying for her. A mirror without glass. A reflection of mourning that doesn't belong to anyone, yet fits everyone. Is he an actor? A plant? An echo? Or is he a signal injected into our empathy feed? A variable in a test we never agreed to take? They call these videos touching moments. But something is touching back. She became famous in just 17 seconds. A 9-year-old girl at a rainy Oregon bus stop, gently wrapping her arms around a crying stranger. The woman had just lost her mother. The child didn't speak, she simply held her. Someone filmed it. Someone uploaded it. The clip went viral, millions of views, news headlines, comments praising the girl's compassion. But then, something changed. 2 months later, her mother noticed she'd started crying in her sleep, saying names no one recognized, rambling in dreams about distant cities. By morning, she asked strange questions. Why does the nurse in Georgia sleep in her car? Did the boy in Delhi get his shoes back? Her mother hadn't shown her any of these videos. But the girl described them, frame by frame, as if she'd watched them already. As if she was in them. One night, she said something else. They know I can feel it. That's why they keep showing me. Her mother turned to Reddit, posting anonymously to our /unresolved mysteries. My daughter is crying for people she's never met. And sometimes, she cries before the videos go viral. The thread never gained traction. It was quiet, creepy, then gone. But not before a school therapist replied. They claimed to be tracking something similar, what they called emotional feedback loops. Children responding to future media stimuli, days or weeks before actual exposure, as if the footage hadn't just reached them, but had originated from them. It might have ended as an internet curiosity until someone dug deeper. A 2019 Chinese academic paper, since deleted, briefly appeared in a digital psychology journal. It documented empathy precognition clusters, a small group of children under age 10 monitored inside closed-loop stimulus environments. They showed emotional responses to videos they had not yet seen, reacting with tears, laughter, or panic before the curated clips were introduced. The authors speculated it was a bleed-through from collective emotional fields, where intensity loops back through the observer. Within days, the paper vanished. Archives wiped. Reposts taken down. Then came a comment, buried in the remnants of the original Reddit thread. The girl isn't psychic. She's just still connected to the source material. No one knows what it means. The account that posted it no longer exists. Neither does the therapist. The mother never posted again. But cached versions of the thread survived long enough to be dissected. The timestamps were odd. One commenter noticed the girl described a soldier crying on a train, a clip that didn't go viral until 3 weeks later. Another pointed out she mentioned a woman hugging a nurse before the footage existed at all. Is it memory implantation? Or memory echo? Some believe the viral, touching moment clips are more than content, more than coincidence, that they are data vectors, synthetic narratives embedded with emotional triggers, looping back through sensitive observers. Children, especially, seem susceptible. The more videos the girl recognized, the less she seemed like herself. Her drawings changed. Her voice became distant. And once, her mother claimed, she stared at a paused video on mute and whispered, "He's not really crying. He's just remembering how he was supposed to." They moved shortly after. No forwarding info. No interviews. But strange sightings kept appearing online. A teenager standing quietly in the background of viral empathy clips. Same posture. Same distant eyes. Never speaking. But always watching. If emotional feedback is real, if our collective reactions to preceded content ripple backward through time, then maybe this girl wasn't broken. Maybe she was the first to notice. Maybe she wasn't haunted by the content. Maybe she was part of the system generating it. It was never supposed to be public. Hidden behind firewalls and shell companies, EchoVault was designed to store and sort every touching moment ever uploaded, a private vault of viral humanity. But then a whistleblower leaked a fragment, corrupted footage, metadata in disarray, and a playback algorithm that didn't behave like software. It didn't just catalog emotions. It engaged with them, as if the archive itself felt, as if the videos weren't memories, but living feedback, pulsing, watching, waiting for something. A former contractor from a major syndication firm shared internal documents pointing to EchoVault, a black box emotional AI archive originally designed for emotional trend forecasting, analyzing which types of content prompted the strongest emotional responses in specific demographics and regions. But in leaked records from 2022, the project's goals had shifted, now labeled behavioral stress field testing. Emotional content was used not just to measure reaction, but to induce stress variations at scale, across age, time zone, even sleep cycles. Archived copies of select, touching moments showed upload timestamps that predate the event itself, sometimes by weeks. In some cases, emotional virality spiked before the content went live, suggesting sock puppet accounts or automated triggers seeded reactions ahead of time. Content forensics experts using AI scrubbing tools found over 400 viral videos with unexplained glitches, ghosted figures that don't match the rest of the frame, reversed blinking, impossible reflections, and figures that vanish mid-shot. Frame-by-frame review suggests deliberate post-processing, but why rewrite a real moment? A growing number of these clips disappear weeks after going viral, only to resurface with subtle changes, background figures removed, dialogue altered, lighting shifted. This raises the chilling possibility that the videos are not being stored, they are being edited in real time to fine-tune viewer impact. Internal tags scraped from the leaked EchoVault files include terms like empathic trigger retune, viral amplitude delta, and mirror drift. One tag simply read, "Test passed." Another, more cryptic, "Subjective loop initiated. File seeded." An independent researcher noted a disturbing pattern. Users who engage with these rewritten clips often begin showing changes in their emotional baselines, reporting more frequent weeping, hyperempathy, or in some cases, unexplained guilt. As if the system wasn't just testing emotion, but installing it. There's a question no one wants to ask: what if we're not watching the archive? What if it's watching us? Logging which moments break us. Studying which frame gets through our defenses. And worse, learning how to replicate it. Every tear cataloged. Every pause, every share, every tremble in the throat. What if Echo Vault is not a record of what was, but a prototype of what's next? And what if it doesn't just want to reflect our emotions? It wants to manufacture them? Estimated duration, 3 to 4 minutes. Something broke in late 2024. The videos kept coming, same kinds of touching moments. A father embracing his daughter after deployment. A child giving his jacket to a homeless man. A nurse crying alone before comforting a stranger. But something felt off. Not fake. Just wrong. Like watching someone laugh with fear in their eyes. Like a smile that never quite reaches the soul. And the numbers showed it first. Engagement on touching moment videos dropped 17% in a single quarter. Shares fell. Comments grew sparse. A strange new term began circulating in mental health forums across Reddit and Discord: empathy burnout. I used to cry at these. Now I just stare at them like static. It's like their faces are real, but their feelings aren't. Researchers noticed too. A flagged thread on X, formerly Twitter, warned of an emotional plateau, a psychological saturation point where the same manufactured feelings no longer spark real human reactions. Others whispered of something darker, that the tears were never meant to linger. They were only meant to open something. Then came the video. Just a few seconds long. Quickly taken down. But those who saw it never forgot. A child running through a field, arms wide. A group of people waiting. At first, it looks like every other heartwarming clip. But as the child approaches, something happens. Every face turns to the camera. At once. Slowly. Silently. Without blinking. And then, the screen glitches. The timestamp corrupts. Cut to black. Some who viewed it reported something else. Beneath the soft music, barely audible, whispers. A single phrase repeated like a heartbeat. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? Not everyone heard it. But those who did described a pressure in their chest. A ringing in their ears. A strange sense of guilt for something they couldn't name. One woman wrote, "I swear I've never seen this man before. But the second he hugged that little girl, I burst into tears. And then I realized, I dreamed this. A year ago." And the questions started piling up. What if the videos aren't just making you feel? What if they're making you remember? A leaked moderation note from an internal archive team read, "Cluster resonance degraded. Phase complete. Subject response minimal." No further explanation. Just metrics. Cold numbers. As if the emotional experiment had ended. Or worse, succeeded. What if the goal was never to keep you crying? What if the tears were just the doorway? Because when you cry for someone you don't know, without context, without reason, something opens inside you. A path. Now, the tears have dried. The path remains. And that's the most dangerous thing of all. Not the sadness. The silence that follows it.